Are you concerned that there seems to be some level of disagreement between some states and the federal government on the way and manner things have been handled?
Absolutely.
I mean, if you look at the herdsmen attacks in some parts of the north central state, what do you make of that attack in the first place, those attacks?
Well, I, for one, do not read political connotations. It's purely, you know, an age-long conflict that has continued to degenerate. Now, people have given different reasons for this degeneration. Some are saying the grazing routes are becoming, people are invading the grazing routes that have been known over the years. They are now, expanding their farms to those grazing routes. Some are giving all kinds of reasons. But for me, I think it is purely, a historical problem that has continued to, degenerate. But the attempt to give it ethnic connotations, political connotations, that is what I resist all the time. It is a problem that we must confront. And in confronting the problem, let us eschew politics, eschew religion, eschew ethnicity, and we will see the problem in its true light.
There seems to be some language or terminologies that have cropped up in all of these narratives. Colonies, grazing and ranching. From all of this, based on our law and our diversity and the technicality of history, what do you think works best for Nigeria?
Nothing. There can be a global solution to it. I think the Vice President said it correctly the other day. I said the states should adopt different models to tackle these problems. Because you see, so much sentiment has been brought into this issue. So far, so good now. So that the federal government cannot, bring out a particular model and, impose it on the states. The federal government, they don't even have the constitutional powers to so do. So I think each of the states should be allowed.
That power is not in the exclusive list?
No, absolutely not. It's not. So because that will have to do with acquisition of land, and giving out land in any way, whether as ranches
because
or as colonies.
You know the way our borders are right now.
Yeah.
At some point, you don't know when you've stepped from Nasarawa to Benue State.
Yeah.
1 foot here, one other foot, and you're in another state. Even around here, 1 foot in Lagos, 1 foot in Ogun State. So these are the dynamics of our times. And you find that happening across the country. So you think that, generally speaking, each state should have lived up to...
That is the solution to it. I mean, each state should develop a model to accommodate these, the headers, because they are also part of society. Let's not forget that too. We also purchase meat from them every day. They are an essential part of the economy too. They are like every other trader that we accommodate in... the Igbo traders are in Kaduna. The Hausa traders are in the south too. That's why you have a lot of these Hausa quarters all over the south too and all that. So we are used to accommodating ourselves. Let us not raise this sentiment to a level where we think that a certain section of Nigerians or a certain set of people in Nigerians who carry their trade cannot be accommodated in some parts of this country. No. But the type of accommodation to be given to them should be dictated by each state because of the kind of, political colorations and ethnic colorations that have been brought into the issue.
But when a state comes up with a law and a group of people say they do not agree with that kind of law, what do you do?
Well, then they should leave the state. That is my personal opinion. Because the states, they have powers to pass those laws. The states have powers. So if the states say, look, this is the way we are going to accommodate you here, and you don't like the way they have passed the law, they are going to accommodate you anyway. But you don't like the way they have modeled it to accommodate you, then you migrate to another state.
When the state governor, for example, Mr. Keyamo, when the state government comes and say, I know and I've given report of some of the perpetrators of this evil in my state, and he thinks that the power at the center is not doing anything about it, how frustrating do you think that can be? And what do you think the options left for such a person?
Well, I don't know the specifics of the signals he gave, the notice he gave, and what they have done, what they have not done. I don't know it. I don't know those specifics. But I think, really, if you ask me, that it is important that we do not go with the narrative we hear these days, that the federal government has not done anything, the federal government has not done anything. And keep people saying, when you repeat something 100 times, if it's a lie, it now sounds like the truth. Okay? Now, the other time, I know that they arrested some herders who went to Falai's farm. They were arrested, they were charged to court, they were tried, they were convicted, and nobody's talking about that. So is that evidence of no effort by the federal government? When the federal government said relocate to a particular state, go and fish out the killers, go and fish out the people who perpetrated this crime, is that evidence of no effort? You know, so, you see, we have to be careful to read behind the headlines these days. Most of these headlines are political in nature because they want to give the impression that, oh, because we have a Fulani president, he's now covering up the Fulani herdsmen. That's a very dangerous narrative that has been pushed over and over, and certain sections of this country that are beginning to accept that narrative. And it is a lie. We must be frank enough, we must be bold enough to say it is just a lie.
Mr. Keyamo, have you studied the APC's True Federalism report?
Not in details. I know a few of the highlights, but not the details.
For some of the things that you've seen, are you satisfied?
Well, it is the way to go. It is what we have always, canvassed for, what we have always preached, about. So it is how achievable it will be, how they can use their majority in the National Assembly and the State House of Assembly to push this proposal through that we are looking forward to.
Do you think it's just all about 2019, or it's just...
No, I don't think so. I don't think, because you see, only few elites follow the issue of true federalism. When push comes to shove, in Nigerian politics, it is not true federalism that will make a government win or lose an election. It is not that issue.
Okay. Up next on the program, Mr. Keyamo is still with us. But what does the recorded election sequence or the reordered election sequence mean for the presidency, the lawmakers, and the general outlook of 2019 elections? When we come back from the break, we take a closer one, at the politics and the intrigues of it all. Join us again, everyone.